The obvious place to start with How I Met Your Mother's problem is the ending, a finale so bad that it damn near killed sitcoms altogether. But first, there are some other issues we've got to delve into. First up, Barney, who represents a consistent issue with the show. Dude's no good. I don't know how to put this in a way that's particularly nice or subtle. Barney's a sexual predator. He's consistently shown to be a self-proclaimed player who follows the rules of a playbook, which somehow even got published as a real book you can buy on Amazon right now. The first play he officially ever tried from it came in the Season 5 episode appropriately titled The Playbook, in which the play is to stop a woman from drinking from a glass which he then claims to have seen some guy slip something into, thereby making himself the hero. It really does just start off that skeezy, and as time and seasons went on, the skeeziness continued. One of the more controversial plays came in Season 4, actually, before the introduction of the official book. In the episode I Heart NJ, Barney uses his Trojan lesbian maneuver, which involves him pretending to be a butch woman in order to get a lesbian's phone number. And then there's Ted, who represents a different kind of creep. As the main character, you'd expect him to be at least a little likable. Unfortunately, well, he's not. Ted is a delusional character who presents himself as a sweet, hopeless romantic, but who in reality is a scheming narcissist who seems to be incapable of differentiating between right and wrong. Take, for example, his attempt to utilize a dating service to find the woman of his dreams. It turns out that he has only one match, and it's someone who's already been matched up with someone else. A normal human being with a grasp of reality would call it there and move on, but Ted displays an almost sociopathic need for his love connection. So he steals the woman's information and visits her at work under false pretenses. He also just ignores the fact that she's about to get married, which... what a jerk. Another aspect is how he allows Barney to include him in various plays, like the Special Delivery, wherein he pretends to be a delivery man trying to deliver a package to the prettiest girl in the bar. The fact that he would go through with such a scheme says a lot about Ted's character. Sure, he wouldn't go through with the more disturbing part of the plan, but just the idea of trusting one of Barney's plays to get him an easy hookup is pretty vile. Heck, remember Natalie? She and Ted dated before the series began, and she resented him for breaking up with her on her birthday. Still, Ted becomes obsessed with winning her back, under the assumption that this is the relationship that will finally fix everything for him. He love bombs her with a giant sock monkey, and the two wind up together again, only for Ted to dump her a few weeks later, again on her birthday. Then there was Stella, whom Ted was ready to marry until he realized through help from Marshall that he didn't know much of anything about her, including that she had a peanut allergy, which he found out when he nearly killed her with a home-cooked meal. But what really makes Ted a scumbag is how he treats Robin. This poor lady just wants a casual relationship while pursuing her journalism career, and she has the piss-poor luck of winding up on Ted's radar. He decides pretty much immediately upon meeting her that he's in love, and when he brings this up, it should ruin all plans for further romance between the two. However, he sucks her into his world, and soon she's hanging out with his gaggle of friends, and we're off to the races with a will they won't they style sitcom. Throughout their relationship, he's on again, off again with her, engages in what feels like dozens of other intimate relationships, and proves time and time again that he's really only capable of love-bombing prospective partners in order to fulfill his own narcissistic tendencies. Perhaps his most glaring moment of treating Robin like dirt is when she asks him to get rid of a bunch of stuff that he'd held onto from past relationships. In retaliation, he asks her to get rid of her dogs after finding out that she got them from her own previous relationships. There's also the fact that he cheated on Victoria with Robin, which was awful behavior that should have led to a permanent ending for their blossoming romance. I think the point I'm really getting across here is that How I Met Your Mother treated women terribly throughout 9 seasons of television. Whether it's Barney's horndog nature or Ted's creepy obsessive personality, this is a show predicated on grown men treating women absurdly poorly and inevitably being rewarded for that behavior. Sure, there's plenty of times where they receive their comeuppance, but in the end, they retain their friends, and Ted not only finds the love he's seeking, but he also still gets to be with Robin despite that. At least that's the implication. In reality, Ted's renewed relationship with Robin is bound to end poorly, but the show presents their final moments before the credits roll as the beginning of some beautiful thing. That just seems like it's unlikely to be the case. And this all led, as I initially teased, to that finale. Woof, what an absolute nightmare. It averaged over 12.9 million viewers, the most viewers for a single episode of the show, and represented a huge win for the show's producers. It's also one of the worst series finales of all time. This is due primarily to two women, Robin and Tracy. In Robin's case, the problem is how the show itself positions her as almost fated to wind up with Ted, despite literal years of TV telling us that this relationship can't work. Robin is a professional with dreams and goals of her own, and none of those goals includes having kids with Ted. Enter Tracy, the actual mother of the title, whom we're only given a handful of episodes with before the finale. She seems to be a part of the show just to have an answer to the titular question. She's someone whom Ted can have kids with, thereby getting around Robin's staunch refusal to have any of her own. I could go on, but plenty of digital ink has been spilled dissecting the finale and general issues to be found in How I Met Your Mother. What do you think? Am I being too harsh on this show, or is it deserving of derision for how it handles its characters? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, thank you for watching Screen Rant.